echo with the memories of heroes past. Their names are legend. Pershing, Patton, Sherman, Robert E. Lee, Eisenhower. Now, a motion picture company has come to West Point to put on film one of the many memorable events in the life of a visionary warrior statesman whose name is like a call to arms. General Douglas MacArthur. Gregory Peck plays the title role, under the direction of Joseph Sargent. Here they are recreating one of the most poignant moments in the life of a man of controversy, a legend in his own time.
From your rank come the great captains who will hold the nation's destiny in their hands the moment the war tocsin sounds. The long gray line has never failed us.
He was to the sound of bugles born. His father was a career officer in the U.S. Army and foresaw a distinguished career for his son. It was to that end that Douglas MacArthur dedicated his life. At the age of 19, he entered West Point and graduated with honors at the head of his class. World War II saw his mettle tested and proven. The flames of war tempered his spirit into the shining sword of leadership that future men would follow into battle. Decorated and promoted by General Pershing, his rise, while rapid, was never without controversy.
Supreme Commander of the Southwest Pacific area, I will not be the leader of another lost cause. We are attacking, gentlemen. I am going to make the fight for Australia up here in New Guinea.
Certain that he was right, always demanded total obedience from his staff, and yet was constantly insubordinate and stubborn when it came to taking orders from his superiors.
I've never disobeyed an order in my life. Now, for the first time, I feel bound to disobey.
Sir, you couldn't. You'd be court-martialed.
Then I'll resign my commission and fight on here as a private.
On the whole, I find that his virtues far, far outweigh his faults. I've come to think that he was a very, very great character, and I've come to love him deeply in making this film.
One of the greatest moments in MacArthur's career and our nation's history was the general's keeping of his promise to return to Philippine soil. Director Joseph Sargent tells of filming the sequence.
What you're watching is a bit of World War II being enacted. We're contending with tides that don't cooperate, wind that doesn't cooperate. And this morning we had Gregory Peck step into water that turned out to be almost over his head because there was a sudden hole where there should have been sand.
Follow me. Correspondents, please stay in the rear until after the general makes his statement. No questions. Jerry, where are you going with that? I'm bringing a better shot than a big stroke.
Please, General, my people are going to laugh if I fell in deep water. I cannot swim.
That's not so bad, Mr. President. Everyone's about to see that I can't walk on water.
Nothing could be more of a challenge than to play a character so well known to so many people living who remember him, how he looked, how he sounded, what he did, passionate feelings for him, against him. I don't expect I can please everyone. I think if I please half the people, I'll be doing very well.
The Big Mo. The surrender ceremony of the Japanese forces aboard the battleship Missouri had to be researched carefully to authentically recreate an event still fresh in the memories of many. Meticulous attention by director Joseph Sargent had to be given to every detail to keep the event historically accurate.
It's a challenge, presenting him in all of his colors and all of his complexities.
Generals Percival and Wainwright, come forward, please.
A many-dimensional character, outrageously pompous at times, and simple and warm and compassionate at others, always following his very personal code, which was ingrained in him at West Point: duty, honor, country. A patriot of, you might say, of another era.
Perhaps MacArthur's greatest achievement was as military governor of Japan. Producer Frank McCarthy tells of it.
General MacArthur designed and executed the best occupation ever known in the history of the world, and the Japanese people are grateful for it to the degree that he is one of their great heroes as well as ours.
He took a vanquished, embittered enemy and turned them into a staunch ally of the free world, and reconstituted that nation, gave them universal suffrage, broke up huge industrial combines, put an end to tenant farming, gave them freedom of speech. At one point, one of his staff members said to him, "Sounds like the New Deal to me." MacArthur said, "Well, maybe it is, but let's not call it the New Deal. After all, after 1,000 years of feudalism, perhaps it's time we move them just a little bit to the left."
Korea, one of his greatest military triumphs, the landing at Incheon. And then, the crushing recall when he went against national policy and President Truman.
People of this country are men and women of common sense, and whenever anybody gets too far out of line, the people are going to take charge and put him out of business.
Leading to his return home, to a hero's welcome.
Official estimate from 7 to 10 million people are here on hand, and that surpasses Whitworth and Eisenhower both coming put together. Rules are out. The crowd is excited.
A movie company is filming the story of a controversy that is part of our national heritage. A man who was larger than life. General of the Armies, Douglas MacArthur.